foot down and go 3-0?
I don't think anyone's thought about the word over yet. I think we held home ice in our building. We got to go into a hostile environment where they've been very good and play an excellent game, an excellent road game in order to get one win closer to our goal. And that's our goal. That's what our focus is on, is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock being ready to start that game.
Some of their frustrations might have shown through there towards the end of the game. Being down 2-0, their urgency is going to be a lot higher. You anticipate maybe a little chippiness going into their building now?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the way the last game started with. They started with a bang. Ferland had a massive hit on Grizz right in front of our bench. Might have woke him up a little bit and sparked him, but great response by him. And I think that kind of drove the effort from our guys, that he's willing to play through a huge hit like that and go out there and be productive. That everyone else is on board, and from a younger guy to do that was fantastic. Going into their building. It's a tough place to play, tough place to win, and we've got our work cut out for us. But we got the day of rest today, so we should be firing on all cylinders with plenty of energy to go in there and have a great effort.
Dave, with the way the playoffs began, you kind of the extra guy up top. Now you're scoring. I mean, did you envision the way it's going now?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping this was the way it would go, that I'd get a chance and I'd be able to be productive and be in the lineup on a regular basis, but I'm not taking anything for granted. I feel like every game I got to earn my opportunity to be in the next game and be a part of being on the ice for these battles. And we've had some success as a group, with me in there, without me in there. So I think that's part of our hallmark and why we've been successful. You've had, Steven Camper step in and score a huge goal in game one of this series. You've had other guys, Carson Kuhlman, who's played a huge role against Toronto and getting in on forechecks and being the kind of the match to their small speediness that they have. So we've had different guys stepping up and in and out of lineups, and the support that you get when you're out of lineup, and there's a little camaraderie with a small group of guys that aren't playing, and that's huge for keeping your head on your shoulders and being ready for that opportunity when it presents itself.
How much does that depth make you difficult to be beaten when you're rolling lines, when guys are contributing, third line's kicking in like it is now?
Yeah, it's a staple and a necessity, I think, of having a deep run, is you need to have depth, because you're going to have injuries, maybe not suspensions, you don't count on those, but when they happen and Connor Clifton can fill in admirably for Charlie McAvoy, that's a huge, feather in your cap to have. On the forward side, maybe you can hide a guy a little bit better if there's an absence, but on the defensive side, to have the guys that we have that are waiting in the wings if necessary, who knows what happens, but those guys are willing and able and admirably jumping in when they need to be.
David, your team has gone on the road and come up with some big wins this postseason in some tough environments. What is it about your team that allows you to do that?
I think we've got a great mindset going into games, especially on the road, that you're in a hostile environment. You know that it's going to be, you're going to get the other team's best, and you better bring your best, or else it can be, losing the game sucks, but you can get embarrassed if you're in somebody else's building and you don't bring your intensity in your A game, and in the playoffs even more so. So we've always taken that sort of, let's find a way, it doesn't have to be pretty, and get a job done on the road. And when you're in the hotel with a bunch of guys and your guys are playing cards, or now it's video games, unfortunately, for some of these guys on the road, but you got that camaraderie, and you're kind of living together and have that fellowship together, that on the next event you're closer together, and that's a cool feeling to have.
Along those lines, Game 6 at Columbus, is that kind of a revelation as a group to know you can not only go on the road but close out the way you did?
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good statement game of how we got some good clanks off the post that went the right direction, but maybe that's all they had when Tuukka was standing tall. But yeah, that built a little bit more of a belief system that on the road, at home, lay our game out there. And sometimes teams are just going to match your intensity or match your plays, and all of a sudden you got to tip your cap to them and say they earned that one, see if they can do it next night. But giving ourselves that chance, it's a heck of a team and a heck of a system to try to counteract and to beat when we're on our game.
Having been a captain in the NHL, are you a little surprised that Marshy was able to get Justin Williams to take the bait there yesterday?
Time, score of the game, momentum of the game, I mean, Justin Williams, he's an intelligent guy who's been in a lot of playoff games and had a lot of success in the playoffs. So I've thought the situation through, and I think he's looking for a spark somewhere or another. And when you can get the other team's best guy, you know, maybe thinking back, he might want it back. But I think he's looking for an opportunity at that time in the game to try to change momentum, and you know, maybe gets Marshy to react, and all of a sudden they're in a scrum situation, and all of a sudden he's got his guys pumped up and a little bit momentum for him. Marshy did a heck of a job keeping his composure and, you know, getting onto the power play and doing what he does best.
Dave, when you
Last one.
you mentioned the depth earlier, when you're in a long series and you have depth that you can, not just players in uniform, but guys you can put on the ice and they will accomplish things, how much does that improve your chances, you know, of not getting worn down and you know, having enough people that are intense?
Yeah, it seems like in the playoffs, if you're winning games, there's not a lot of lineup changes because what you're doing is working. So I don't know that we're changing lineups just to keep fresh legs or keep fresh bodies in there. But in the instance of injury or a guy that's nicked up and he's a maybe it's an easier call to say, well, you know, we'll throw Camps in there. You get a couple days of rest to be a lot healthier when you come back in, and Camps is an able body that can fill the position and we won't miss a step. And those are luxuries that maybe we have that other teams might not have that at this time.
I guess what I meant was that you guys don't have to overplay anybody. You know,
No, and rolling four lines, the minutes were pretty equal last night of up and down the lineup. Maybe save some power play guys that got a little extra time there, but when we're even strength rolling four lines, we've got capable guys that either bring us energy, bring us puck possession, bring us some jam, or bring us some skill and offensive prowess, and that's all the hallmarks to our game.
Thanks, Max.
You bet.